Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. I'm your host, Mary Katherine, and today we have Darrylynn, who has actually been on the podcast before, but we are going to talk about something totally different today. So I'm really excited to dive in, but just as a refresher for anyone who's new to the podcast, so Darrylynn serves as the Master Nutrition Coach at Fit Body Bootcamp and is a proud partner at Herndon Fit Body in Fresno, California. After a lifetime of battling obesity and leading a sedentary lifestyle, Darrylynn's life transformed when she discovered the power of nutrition and the universal truth that all bodies are meant to move. Today, she has lost nearly 180 pounds and maintained this incredible achievement for over a decade. Now, Darrylynn dedicates her life to helping others realize their full potential through fitness, nutrition, and mindset work. Drawing on the same tenacity and love she cultivated by raising her 4 children, Darrylynn inspires her clients to explore the limits of their health and lives. As a certified master nutrition coach and an expert in the psychology of eating, she continuously seeks innovative approaches for Fit Body to address behavioral change. She is instrumental in developing new programming and coaching other coaches on the nuances of fostering lasting change in their clients. So welcome, Darrylynn, back to the podcast.
Thank you. Good gravy. That's a lot of stuff. Thank you.
Well, we were just chatting before the show about, how Fit Body has an incredible nutrition program and how there are so many nutrition programs out there. And so I want you to tell us, before we talk about the nutrition program that Fit Body has, how nutrition played such an important role in your life when you were losing those 180 pounds and how nutrition still does today as you're trying to sustain that weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really the way that I initially lost like 100 pounds was through only nutrition. I definitely didn't know how to move. I definitely had no confidence around moving my body at all. And it still is a struggle for me. But through nutrition, I was able to figure out ways to like supplement my sleep and supplement my like being comfortable in my own, like I have joint issues from past surgeries, and it was really exciting when I would like discover that I could bring down inflammation through nutrition, that I could bring down inflammation through sleep. And as I figured out like what a proper like diet looked like, and then what a proper amount looked like, and then how to upgrade that over time, I was really able to make a lot of progress. And so it's amazing how you can make a lot of progress by making small changes. And then as you make those more habitual, more natural, then you can really start leveling up. And so you don't have to do this entire level up all at once. So that was really my experience, was just kind of little bit at a time, incrementally discovering what felt good in my body and watching my body change, and then be like, okay, that worked.
Yeah.
And then do those things until they didn't work anymore, and then figure out the next level. Yeah.
What were some things in the beginning? So, you had this, what was your initial goal when you were on this weight loss journey? Because I'm sure at the time, looking back, 180 pounds, like that is, it's hard to even wrap your head around 180 pounds. Was your initial goal, I want to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds? Like, talk about your mindset and what your goals were then.
My initial goal was to lose 50 pounds because I wanted to become pregnant.
Oh.
And my doctor said, I don't think there's actually anything wrong. I think it's your weight. And I'm so grateful for that, because I feel like today it could be taken, he may not have been brave enough to say that. And he did. And he said, if you lose 50 pounds, we wait 6 months. And then if you don't become pregnant within the next 6 months, then we'll go ahead and start looking at some treatments. And that was like marching orders. Like if that's what needed to be done, I got to work. And so that was my initial goal, was 50 pounds. And then John Maxwell talks about like, how long is becoming a leader going to take? Like, how long will this take? And then he said, and he eventually asked like, how far can I go? And that was kind of my experience, was like, okay, I did that. And then I was pregnant. I became pregnant with my beautiful Harrison. And then it was like, well, now like I have to take care of him. Like, I don't want him to have this experience. So that was really the motivation, was to figure out how to cook and how to eat and how to like make sure his taste buds didn't taste sugar too early, all of those things. So then so it was like, I knew I was going to need to model that, and that kept me going. And there was a long time that I wasn't losing a lot of weight, but through like 4 more pregnancies, just staying healthy and moving. And I was never more active than when I was pregnant. I was never healthier than when I was pregnant, because that why, of course, was just so big. And so that just kept me moving through 4 babies. and 7 years. And then finally, about 9 years ago now, I just kind of woke up one day and I was like, okay, I'm ready to lose some more weight. Like it was like I hadn't really pursued weight loss for a long time. I was taking care of myself and my babies, and they ate well and I ate well, but I knew like there was 50 more pounds or so. And very literally just woke up one morning and was like, I think I'm going to go for a walk. And I just started walking, and then I just started moving more. And then little by little, like I found Fit Body, and then that coach, there was a Master Nutrition, Precision Nutrition Level 2 coach there, and he was like, took me right under his wing and really pushed me the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So it was, when people ask like, how long did it take you to lose 180 pounds? I wish I could say like 1 year, or 2 years or whatever, but it was literally like a couple of decades. But I never, like now it's been another decade, and like I'm not going to ever gain my weight back. I'll never go back to the way that was, because it was so like small and sequential over time. And certainly most people don't have to lose like a grown man's amount of weight. so it won't take them that long. But for me, it was the best way to like figure it out little at a time.
I appreciate how you share like the evolution, because, you know, I'm sure you do get that question a lot. How long did it take? And people are looking for this, you know, just concrete answer of like 1 year or 2 years. But you started losing weight, you got pregnant, so your health had already changed, and you had already benefited so much by just losing those first 50 pounds.
Yep.
And then, you know, we all know the changes our body goes through when we're pregnant. So here you'd lost 50 pounds, and then you're gaining it all back to be pregnant, and then losing it again. So like the way your body went through so many changes. Can you talk to us a little bit about like your mindset then? Because I even know me personally, when I was pregnant with my second child, I thought to myself, will I ever get back to that? Will I ever get back to that, like, you know, state that I was in, the physical state that I was in? And truthfully, no, I'm not back to that. Like my body has changed.
Yes.
And I appreciate the way it's changed. But did you ever think like, gosh, this is going to be so hard now that I have 2 kids or 3 kids?
You know, because I kept just going, I never stopped. So I never was like, okay, well now I'm pregnant, so I won't pursue this movement. I won't pursue, like I kept going. So after each pregnancy, I actually weighed less than when I started the pregnancy.
Wow.
But to your point, for me, and I think for more and more people, they're starting their pregnancies like pleasantly plump, you know, a little overweight.
Yeah.
And some people like take it as permission to like then kind of go crazy. And some people like, you know, try to get more active while they're pregnant. But for me, I had never been thin. I had never been fit. I had never had that experience. And so I was never trying to like return to this thing. I really was trying to like move forward. I was really trying to like change. It's not too much to say. Like I was really trying to change like the generational curse of obesity in my family. And so I didn't ever think that I could be like where I am now, like, you know, 150 pounds, like healthy and strong. And like, I never imagined that I could be that.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to be a good example and keep my kids from experiencing what I had experienced. And what was inevitable for them. It's really impossible that they are like the athletic, like specimens that they are. Like it's improbable. And just by those small steps in the right direction was all it really took.
Yeah. So I think that for many people, exercise, and for me personally, it's easier to stay consistent with my exercise routine than it is with what I'm eating. It's so easy to make excuses for why you deserve to eat that cheeseburger, or that slice of pizza, or that scoop of ice cream, and you can do it yourself every single day. But for me, like working out's easy, nutrition is hard. And so what would you say to someone who maybe they're starting to embark in a similar journey that you were on? How were you able to stay consistent? Because it sounds like to me consistency has been everything for you.
Consistency is everything. There is nothing more important than consistency, and it's really the difference maker. The quicker that you can reset, the quicker that you can get back on track is the difference maker. And I am never perfect. Like I don't even know what a perfect day is. Sincerely, like today I had a latte and I did get whole milk, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's not perfect. I don't know if it's perfect for some people, but it's not perfect for me. But I did, right? Does that mean the rest of the day is gone? Absolutely not. Like I've still worked out. I still took a walk. I still had my water, right? So it's that mindset of like, I can reset over and over and over. I can reset quicker than anyone. And that is the training that I really implement with my clients. Like you're not going to have a perfect day. So discovering where you can find consistency is so, so, so important. And I think that like we make nutrition hard because we lie to ourselves. Like we love to tell ourselves stories about our nutrition. And I do it too. Like I travel all the time. And then I get in like an airport and I'm like, ooh, I love that bagel place.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go. Like, well, I'm on a trip, so I should get a bagel. And it's like, you were on a trip trip last week, and in 2 weeks you're on another trip. This is not a special bagel. And getting clear about like what is worth it, what is special, listening to those thoughts, and like really deciding, like, my favorite question is that true? And it's just such a simple, it's 3 words, but saying, is that true, to my clients, saying to myself, like, is that true? And then not in a like, you're a liar way, but like, is that a story that I'm making up in order to get what I want right now? And we do that all day, right? We do it in all kinds of ways. And we see it in our children, but we don't always see it in ourselves. And so getting really clear about what you're thinking when you're doing the thing that gets you off track. It's just, there's nothing better than that. It's like people don't want to talk about mindset. Like, oh, just tell me what to eat. Yeah. Right?
They want it to be easy.
Yeah, just tell me what to eat and I'll do it. But the truth is like, actually, without the mindset, you can't decide what to eat. And so that's why it's so important, is to get really clear on like, what are you thinking in those moments, and how can you question whether they're real or not.
I like that you start with that, and I imagine that's the approach that you use with your clients, because too many people are looking for just the quick answer and the quick fix. And sometimes they don't want to dig down deep, and they don't want to actually think about what are their feelings around the way they're eating, and what are their feelings around the way they feel inside their body. Yes. So I really like that you mentioned that, because most people are like, hey, what do I eat? How many grams of protein should I get? Okay, I'm gonna lose these 50 pounds. It's gonna be easy. It's not, it doesn't happen
not like that. No, I had a client the other day, and she was like, every day I get home, like I do so well at work, and then I get home and then I just like eat all of my daughter's snacks. And I was like, okay, so this week, and I didn't give her a new practice. I was like, this week, I just would like you to, like, when you get home and you start to go into the pantry or onto the counter or wherever the M&Ms are, and just say, like, what am I thinking right now? If that's your job this week, can you just do that? Yeah. Right? And then she came back the next week and she said, I'm hungry. I realized, like, I'm actually hungry. And I'm like, great. Like, that is something we can deal with. Now, like, if you're just not getting enough food in the morning, or you're like maybe on the drive home, like, now we can talk about like strategies to help you not be hungry when you get home. But like, until she's stopped and paused and asked herself, why do I want to eat the chicken nuggets? Why do I want to eat those M&Ms? Like, then once she did that, then she was able to say, I'm not full. Like, I'm hungry still. Oh, well, then we can talk about satiation then. Like, that's something we can solve now, but we couldn't solve it before. A lot of coaches like to get right to the answer. Yes. Right. So she gets home and says, like, as soon as I get home, I want to eat M&Ms. And the coach is like, okay, well, like, eat strawberries instead. Yeah. Right. Like, or something like that. And that's fine. That is better than M&Ms, but it's not solving the issue. And now she knows, if I'm hungry when I get home, I will do this thing. And she can prepare herself. So what could we do in advance of that to make it where you're not hungry when you get home? And preparing, like, working backwards is so powerful. And those are like the strategies that, like, I'm coaching our coaches to learn. Because once you start getting down there, like, that's where the transformation is. Like, that's where the change is. A plan is a plan. Right.
And getting to that root cause versus like, here's a swap. It's that easy. Because we all know it's not. I mean, it works in the beginning. It works at first. But then you're like, no, I really do want those M&Ms. And then it's like, well, why do you really want those M&Ms? Yeah, I appreciate that you mentioned that. So you talk about training and coaching other coaches. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about, first, what our nutrition program looks like at FitBody? Like, what they have access to if they're a new client at FitBody?
Yes. So it's so exciting. It truly, like, it is something, what we are doing with the HBC. HBC stands for Habit and Behavior Change. It is where the magic is. And so many organizations, fitness institutions, other programs, like, they're handing you plans and giving you a high five and sending you out the door. And the problem with that is not the plan. The plan is beautiful, but a plan is only as good as your ability to execute it. Right? It's like saying, like, hey, like, you want to be a millionaire by the time you're 40? Like, put your entire paycheck away for 1 year and let it compound. Well, okay, like, yeah, probably, but who can actually do that, right? And that is essentially what so many health and fitness organizations do. They hand you a plan and send you on your way. And what I found is that without addressing, like, the behavior change, like, what makes someone change? What are the things they need to ask themselves? What are the root causes of why do they do the things they do? And how can we in small and incremental ways get them to be equipped to execute at a high level? In every other way, we do that. And we never would hand, like, our children a chapter book and, like, read Moby Dick, my 3-year-old, right? No, like, we do phonics, and mom reads first, and then they learn to turn the pages, and then they learn the sounds, and then they learn the blends, and then they learn how sentences are put together, right? And then they learn to read. And it's like, in everything else, we do that. But for whatever reason, in fitness, we've expected people to execute at a high level, top of the mountain behaviors, when they have bottom of the mountain habits. They're not equipped.
Yeah.
And so at Fit Body, what we're doing is we're flipping the script. Like we are being so brave, MK. Like we are doing things that no other program in the world is willing to do as part of a fitness program. We are addressing the real issues, and we're training our coaches to be able to execute them and get people all across North America to learn behavior change in small incremental ways that get them the progress they need. And it's the best part, honestly, the best part. So when I first got into the brand, I kind of raised my hand and I was like, is that really the best way? Like, are we really getting transformation? Mm-hmm. And the objection I got was our clients need faster results. They don't get fast enough results by just executing on habits. And it's not true. Right. We have been in testing and we are showing how people are losing 10 and 12 inches in those first 6 to 12 weeks. And they are losing weight and they feel really awesome and they're getting inflammation off them. They started moving their body. And we've done it in such small compounding ways that they could do it forever. Mm-hmm. Right? Now we're not just saying like, do all the things. What's the experience most of us have is that maybe 10% of clients can execute at that level. And then we say, look at what we did. But we're only showing that top 10%, right? But we're not showing the other 90%. The other 90% still needs help, right? And so we have said we are going to inspire fitness and change lives. So if that's truly what our job is, if that is truly what we're here to do, mm-hmm. then we need to equip people to be able to do that. Otherwise, we're just like everyone else. And so the leadership at Fit Body has been incredibly brave in helping us test this out and adopt a new way for our clients to make progress. And the only friction there is that we have to have coaches that know how to teach it. And so we're doing that too. Like we are coaching the coaches on ways that they can coach their clients. We are telling them exactly what the panic brain of our Mrs. Jones will do when we start the program. We're telling them exactly what the perfectionist brain of Mrs. Jones is going to do as we start a program. And we just take it week by week by week. And when she says this is what she's feeling, and this is what we can do. And ways that we can help them progress through the program without topping out at week 2. I don't know how much coaching you've done, but so many clients get to that week 2, week 3 spot, and then a kid gets sick, right, or a job gets lost, or the car breaks down, and they're just like, catch you next challenge. Yeah. Right? We want people to lose weight the way they live their lives. And there's only one way to do that. It's by small incremental change. And so we are doing it. Like we are equipping people really well with this HBC.
Can you share a few of the common small changes that you're coaching your clients through? Like when you have a client come to you and they're like, all right, this is my life. I'm going to lay it out here for you. And I want to lose these 50 pounds and I'm coming to you for advice. What are some of the small changes that you're having them make at the beginning?
At the very beginning, we want them to move. Of course, like we're Fit Body. So we want people to be moving. We want them to feel positive. We know that through like the research of BJ Fogg and James Clear, that the best way for people to change is to do it in small ways and feel awesome while they're doing it, right? So you come to Fit Body, we're going to put you on that floor. We're going to coach the heck out of you. We're going to give you high fives. We're going to like bring it in, break it down at the end. You're going to feel like a badass at the end, right? You're going to feel great. And then you're going to have a small practice each week to build on. So we like to start with water because so many people are so chronically underhydrated, and it affects every single area of our lives, from our skin to our hair to our sleep to our gut biome. Like every single mechanism of our body, as important as it is to breathe, it is important to be hydrated. Yet so many people, all the people walking around the world are so dehydrated. So we start with that. Like, Mrs. Jones, could you come and see us 3 to 4 times this week and drink half your body weight in ounces of water and log it so that I can see what you've done? Yeah. Right? And then she does that for a week. So the best way to change is to feel awesome and do it in small ways. And so after Mrs. Jones does her 3 workouts that week and we get to Thursday or Friday and she's drank her water 4 or 5 of those days, we're celebrating, right? Before, we would only get to celebrate at the end, right? She wanted to lose 10 pounds. She wanted to lose 15 pounds. Yay, you lost 10 or 15 pounds, right? Now we celebrate every damn week. Look at you. Yeah. Right? And then next week, we want to know what you're eating. Like, what's your general diet like? I'm not asking you to change anything. I just want to know where you are so that when we get further down the line, I'll kind of know what this bedrock is for you. And so we get her in the app. We have the best technology in the world for our Fit Body Nutrition app. No other app can compare. And so we have her just getting practice in that app, and we can see what she's eating. And sometimes it's pizza and beer a few nights a week. That's okay. When we get down the line, we'll know that was her baseline, right? Then we start working on protein. So then we start working on protein and produce. Like, we just build over that first 6 and then the second 12 weeks, the second 6 weeks. That gets us to 12 weeks. By the time we get to 12 weeks, like, they are operating at such a high level inside the app. They've got their macros. They're drinking water. They're showing up to their workouts workouts, and they added such a tiny thing every single week. And inevitably it happens, for my facility, about 50% of people have a week, right? Downhill.
Yeah.
But instead of being off track and they can't get back on because it's starting everything all over again, I've got to go grocery shopping, I've got to meal prep, you went off track for a day, you get right back on. If they have several days in a week where it was tough for them for whatever reason, we just repeat that week. Not a big deal, right? Because that's actually the same way we treat our children.
Right.
Our children fails a spelling test, we don't go, well, I guess you're never going to learn it.
Yeah.
Guess you're never going to learn to spell astronaut.
Yeah.
No, we just repeat it and we pick it up, right? And we are providing that support. So these small little ways, but by the time we get to that end of that 12 weeks, their macronutrient, it's like we're making progress. They know what they need to be eating. They know how to get it in. We give them 4 days of coaching from HQ, where 4 days a week, they're getting like several minutes of like a coaching around what their mission and their practice is that week, right? So that's great because we're getting to like impact them in all kinds of ways, but small.
Yeah, I love this so much. And for any listeners that have been with the brand for a while, I've been with the brand for over 7 years. And when we started out, it was very much like, new challenge after new challenge. And we're going to start this tracking system and we're going to give you this great, beautiful food log. And it all was great information.
Yes.
But it was like we just kept starting over. And so what I love about this approach is that you're starting so small, incremental, as you mentioned, but then also like talk to us about after those first 12 weeks.
Yes.
Because I know that it doesn't stop there. That's actually just the beginning.
That's the beginning, yes. Right. And so that's like the characterization that it is really like that first 6 to 12 weeks is like this kickoff phase. Like we're just getting you ready for what's next, right? We're just getting you ready for this prime fat loss phase.
Yeah.
And so after that 12 weeks, clients can decide, do they want to continue hearing from their coach each week so they could stay in this same HBC going forward for a while? They could go into Bootcamp Plus. Well, they'll get a check-in with a coach once a month. They're staying in the app. They're going to keep doing their work. They're going to keep checking in. Or do they want to just take a break and go right into boot camp? So people have, and not worry about nutrition for a bit. Maybe they've met their goal after the 12 weeks. Some people definitely have. So everyone gets an opportunity to do what's best for them, and we have options, right? It's not just like you're on or you're off, right? And that's the zigzag. Like that was that as someone who dealt with obesity her whole life and then had to figure this out pretty much on my own for over 100 pounds. Like to have this journey be so laid out for them, and you're never off. You're never off.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just pick it back up. Let's just get back to it. When they get off on these challenges that we would have, this zigzag where it's like they would get to that last day and let's celebrate with pizza and beer, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, like you're missing it. But with this, it's like you're never really off. You just might be at a different phase of on, right? Like we can just turn it down. You have your daughter's wedding this weekend. Okay, let's just turn it down a little bit. It's okay. And when you're right back up Monday, we're going to turn it back up. There's never this off. And that was kind of the dissonance or friction that I would feel with the challenges.
I love that because, you're mentioning someone's wedding coming up. Like I know even my mother, like she's been a client since I started my journey with FitBody. And when she goes on vacation, she very much just sees it as like, oh, well, there goes my diet. And I'll just pick it back up when I get back in town. And you're teaching people that, you eat that meal, it's fine. Next meal, it's going to be great. You're going to be on.
Absolutely.
And so it's not about like the all or nothing approach. It's very much just like, this is something that you need to be able to sustain for a lifetime. Because whether your goal is to lose 20 pounds right now, or you've already met your 20-pound goal, you're going to have to do the same thing to keep it off.
It's the worst. It's the worst part, right? It's like, it's the dirty little secret of fitness and fat loss, right? That like after you take it off, to keep it off.
Right. Whatever got you there.
You will need to keep doing that, right? Whatever it is, whether it's medication, whether it's like, it doesn't matter. Like you have to keep doing those things. And so it's kind of the dirty little secret, and nobody can do it. And this all or nothing thinking that our clients have, it's really our fault in the fitness industry that people have that.
Right.
Because we do things like challenge, because we do things like program. And so it's like, oh, I'm not on program, so donuts it is, right? Instead of just always being at some level of on task. So, like when my clients do go on vacation, I'm like, awesome, how much walking will we be doing? Will you be eating? Yes, great. So you can log from there, right? And then it's like, every time you're eating, let's make sure we're getting a protein and a produce. We can still drink water. Like there's so much you can do. And also have that local, brown butter cookie. But by all means, right?
Yeah.
Just keep the thing. But when we have this idea of like we're on or we're off, all or nothing, perfectionist thinking, it keeps people from actually getting what they want. And I want people to get what they want. Because once they do this thing, like all bets are off.
Yeah.
All bets are off. Like now she can pay off debt. Now she can be in a relationship that serves her. Now she can like be an example to her family, right? It's not just about the 20 pounds. And every time we rob them of having the skills they need to be successful and lose weight the way they live their life, we're robbing them of that bigger thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not interested in that. Like I want to inspire fitness and change lives.
Yeah.
And I know the way there.
You just said you want to help people get what they want. And I want you to tell us what you think they want, because you gave a presentation at a mastermind about 2 years ago. And it was talking about how we have our avatar client wrong. And this is what our real avatar client was. And I thought it was the best presentation because you touched on more of the heart and like what our clients are, what they're chasing. You know, what is that feeling? Like, what's that life? And so what is it? What is it that they want?
I think sometimes they don't even know because they don't know what's possible for them. Yeah. Because when we can't control our own body and feel good, like dropped in our own space, we can't possibly be effective out in the world. And so that's why I say, like, if someone can lose their 50 pounds, then they might feel like they can handle their teenager, right? They might feel like they can get out of debt, raise their credit score, start a business, leave a relationship that doesn't serve them. Like, they might not even know because nobody's coming to me ever and said, like, I want to lose 20 pounds so I can leave my husband. Like nobody says that, right?
Right.
But the truth is like there is an empowerment that comes from being in control of your life, and there is an empowerment that comes from being undeniable. And when you do something like take control of your food and your movement and your nutrition, and you change the generational legacy of your family, all bets are off. Like you can achieve anything. You are undeniable. And as coaches, it's our responsibility to speak that life into them. Anyone can hand Mrs. Jones a plan, right? But a coach can let her see what's available to her beyond the 20 pounds. And that is what we're doing. That is what we are doing at FitBody. And our coaches are all in.
Yeah.
They are so excited. Every day I'm getting emails and texts and DMs, and I'm like, let's go. Like it's coming. Like we're going for it. And I'm just super proud of from leadership being so brave and from our coaches being so ready to execute. Like so many people, women will discover something they didn't even know was possible for them.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what it is because she doesn't know what it is.
Right.
But it's coming. Right?
Mic drop. That was great. So for someone listening who's a client at the gym and they're thinking to themselves, okay, like I think nutrition is the next part, like the next thing that I need to start focusing on. I know as an experience, as a coach and as an owner, like there are some coaches that maybe it's because they're younger and they're just getting into this industry. They're thinking to themselves, well, I want to help people. I want to help them with nutrition, but I'm not really sure if I'm equipped with everything that I need to do that.
Sure.
How are you and how is HQ equipping our coaches with the tools and tactics that they need to help our clients?
Well, first of all, we're giving our clients a plan that they can actually execute on, right? So if we give them something that's very complicated, of course the coaches will feel like impotent in helping them because it's a hard plan for her, and the coaches don't know how to help her get that plan. But a coach knows, and I'm going to teach them, right, how to get them to drink their water. A coach knows how to get them to show up for a workout. A coach knows how to develop a relationship with them, and that's so key. But along with this unveiling of HBC after this testing, we've been really focused on how to coach our coaches to coach our specific avatar and how to coach this specific program. And like I said, like we've established a course. I'm going to be coaching the coaches on weekly calls. We are going to be face-to-face with our clients. We'll be face-to-face with the coaches, going through like individual clients from all over North America, figuring out like what the biggest struggles are and then dialing in our coaching around that. So I am so excited to get to like lead the coaches through this journey for Mrs. Jones. And I know that like that's ultimately where it is. Like the coaches are going to be better by making Mrs. Jones better, but we're going to give the coaches a plan like HBC that they can actually execute on, and they can coach. They can coach water. They can coach protein.
Yeah.
They can know the app. They can keep her engaged and encouraged. Like they can do those things. It is an entirely different level of coaching to hand someone a plan and say, go do that, right? That's just handing someone a plan. And there are certain sectors of coaching that works. So if you have a bodybuilder, like they have this intrinsic motivation, this why that is, driving them. So you're going to get a lot of compliance, right? At FitBody, we're so brave. Like we've decided to like help this like blue ocean of Mrs. Jones. Like we have decided like she's the one that needs us. There's enough people helping fit people. Like let us help the people that really need to make this change. And so I'll be working like tirelessly to help our coaches be ready. And we will continue to like adapt the plan to work for the most people, including coaches, and all of our clients. It's a game changer.
I think think it speaks volumes that you are leading this program because you are our avatar client and like you have been through the transformation. And like when someone comes to you and they're like, oh, you know, I have 3 kids and their schedules are all over the place and I don't know how to take care of me and I don't know how to make myself a priority. You can literally look them in the eyes and be like, I know that feeling. I've been there. I am there. I'm you.
Yep.
And so I think that's so valuable. And there aren't too many fitness franchises or any fitness businesses out there that are doing that are connecting with their clients on such a personal, deep level, in which we're literally looking them in the eyes saying like, I know exactly what you're going through because I've either been through that or I'm going through it right now. And like, you're okay.
And there's a way through.
And there's a way through it.
There is a way through it.
Yeah,
like I don't have to just sympathize with them.
Right.
And I do sympathize them because I have been there. Right. But like, there's a way.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
And I think there's too many, I mean, I'm sure you could chime in on this, but with social media and all the coaches out there, there's all these health coaches and influencers. And here is my $99 guide. All you have to do is pay this one-time fee. It's a 12-week program and you are going to lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks. And there's so much of that out there and it's noise and it's confusing, Mrs. Jones. It's confusing our clients at boot camp because they are seeing someone else get results. So they think that this person got results and they think that that could be their answer. And so how do you think that like not only us as an industry or us as a fitness business, Fit Body Boot Camp, but as industry leaders as a whole, how do you think that we can continue to change that and like help them realize that like that's not the answer. It's the community, the culture, and the real people in person that they need.
Yeah, I think it's setting the expectation. I feel like I mentioned like when I first came into the brand, I was like, is this really the right way? Because it doesn't seem like it will work for a really long time. And over time, like I've just been saying like, can we just tell her the truth? Like, can we just say, like, every plan will work? Yeah. Paleo will work, keto will work, low sugar will work, low fat will work. They will all work. 100% of them will work if you can execute them long term. The trouble is you can't execute them long term, right? So setting the expectations with our clients that like, oh gosh, I know. And this is why you haven't been successful. Because what those plans do is they're just burning and churning, right? They just want like your $99. And then what does Mrs. Jones think? I'm broken. Yep. Other people can do it and I cannot, right? And instead we're saying, oh, actually you're not broken. If you did that plan, you would get results, but the plan isn't really meant to be executed. Right. Like it really can't execute that. Most of the coaches couldn't execute it. Right. Truth be known, like I know a lot of coaches and I see them eat and they have ice cream and they have donuts.
And they look great.
And they do great. Yeah, but it's because they have these other bedrock habits dialed in. They're so consistent that they can eat a donut. It's not a problem. And so can Mrs. Jones, but she needs the tools. And so I've said so many times in our planning meetings, and I've said, like, can't we just tell her the truth? Can't we just say, like, it's not your plan. The plan's not the problem. Yeah. Like, we don't have a magic wand. We don't have a magic plan. But we do have a plan to teach you the skills you need to execute the plan, right? And once you get to you have the skills, well, now you can do it. Just like when we give our children all those little phonics and learning how the board books and all that. Well, then they could read Moby Dick, right? Like, the Moby Dick wasn't the problem. Moby Dick was the book, and it was fine. But the problem is our children didn't have the skills to use Moby Dick.
You're giving them a plan to never need a plan.
Yes.
Which is so great.
It's so great, right? And it's really how you live. Right? It is how I live. Yeah. It is how most healthy people live. And I don't know why it doesn't occur to people to just teach them that. It's not a $99 plan. Like we're getting serious coaching, serious technology, serious engagement, scanning. Like we are all in. So it's not a $99 plan. But you will lose weight the way that you will live your life. And no matter what, you're always on. You're never off. I'm never off for the rest of my life. It's kind of weird. But it's true. Like, I'm never going to be off of this forever. But the thing is, I can execute it forever. I can execute it
and I
forever.
think that is just the point that you are trying to teach our coaches and our clients is that this is forever. It's about longevity. And I just sat down with Barrett and George and we talked about programming and how it's designed for the client who wants to do this for a lifetime. And you should have the same approach when it comes to your nutrition. There should never be a time where you're like, I'm just not eating sugar right now and I'm not eating carbs and now I'm not doing this and doing that, and it's exhausting.
Exhausting.
And it does leave someone feeling broken, as you mentioned, because when they're not able to execute and see the results as they think someone else did, they do feel broken and they feel like, what's wrong with me? I'm not capable of doing anything.
Absolutely. And that's what we see over and over again. And that's like a message that I just keep sending out is like, there's absolutely nothing deciding your next win. Like your past does not decide your next win. Your future decides your next win. So what is that thing that gets you that win? And what's great about HBC Habit and Behavior Change Programming is that they are getting wins all the time. Like, we're not waiting until the 20 pounds. We're waiting until they drink water for 4 days.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's they can do it. They can live their life. And if ever they get off track, it's just as easy as picking back up, right? It's not like, okay, now you have to start all over and get all the things and start all the it's not like you literally just, like, you drop something and then you just pick it back up, right? And now you go. Now you start going again.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm just incredibly proud of. I'm proud of our brand. I'm proud of our leaders. I'm proud of our coaches. And we will impact so many lives through this, truly. And the lives of the children and the families that we impact. It's the true transformation.
So when is our HBC program being rolled out?
So it's being unveiled for additional testing this summer, and this fall in September it will go live across North America it'll be part of our fall programming. And so those initial 6 weeks will start, I think it's like September 22nd, like it's coming, and it will be available in August. We'll have all of the resources tested and available after we receive feedback, some additional testing feedback, and then it will go live for everyone in September. And during that time, I'll be doing weekly coaching calls with the coaches. I'll be every single week, and ultimately at some point I'll be doing live coaching calls with our clients, and then we'll be able to just like go back and forth. The coaches will learn from me coaching. They're going to learn from each other's clients. Like, it's going to be something that no one else has bothered to do in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And others are going to copy us because it's going to make such a difference.
Okay, well, we'll
Game
take
changer.
it as a compliment when they start to copy
Yes,
us,
it's going to be, I'm going to be like, that's us. They're doing that because of us. Yes, I am. I'm paying attention. Yes,
that's okay.
Absolutely. We're all on the same team.
I love the engagement piece because I do feel that, like, with our clients in the gym, when we have had, challenges and little competitions and things in the past, they really benefit from learning from each other and like, hey, this is working for me, or these are some meals that I'm cooking every week, and oh wow, look at this meal prep tip. And I think that it's so great when they can not only form the community at boot camp around the workouts, but also have that community and that dialogue back and forth around their nutrition, because they feel alone sometimes. Like, say,
Absolutely.
you have a client who has kids and they don't want to eat healthy. They don't want to eat the recipes that they're making. I'm sure there's another client going through the same thing, and they 100%. Probably are like, hey, have you tried this recipe? So I think there's so much benefit to that.
There is. I mean, we need each other, and women need each other, and mothers need each other. And we're all in different stages, but we all benefit from one another. And that's what Fit Body does.
Yeah.
You come for the transformation, you stay for the family. You come for the workouts, you stay for the family. And it happens over and over and over again. I just want to see them get better and better results and feel more and more empowered and just become that like undeniable version of themselves, whatever that looks like. Together, all of us.
Well, Darrylynn, I am so excited about HBC, and I know our clients are going to love the program. And this episode, as it comes out, will probably be right around when it's being released. So super exciting, and excited for you and your role and how you're going to just change the game with nutrition amongst our coaches and all of our clients and across the country. It's going to be so wonderful, and it's been just so incredible to watch you step into this position. So
thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. This is my love. This is what we're doing it together. Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of the Beyond the Scale podcast. Make sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, and share this episode with all of your friends. Until next time, thanks so much.